Hello, everybody. Jess Los with another weekly update from SBCA. It is 10 a.m. on Thursday, so that must mean time for me to talk to you. A couple things I want to talk about. First off, let's talk about our innovation grant for BCMC. I alluded to it last week. We announced it in industry news this week. Vecta with their auto raking framer, which is a really cool piece of machinery that both cuts and then assembles wall panels. It's really cool to see a lot of things that are going on in the wall panel world. But that one was very striking to our judges, myself included. And that what I liked about it most was the footprint. It's not going to take a huge amount of space to do that. The variability of being able to do small panels, large panels, obviously raked walls is always a challenge as well. So they address a lot of things to be the ability to use screws when you need to for a structural screw, also the nailing. So a lot of cool things. Go to our website, check out the video, look for it at BCMC. I'm excited to see what their prototype, what their mock-up, what they're going to be able to share with us at BCMC in that space that we allowed in our grant. So that was a really cool opportunity for them. Again, it was a very difficult decision on a lot of different levels. There's a lot of innovation happening, which was the goal of the effort. And when we first started this idea, I was hoping maybe we get 5 or 6 entrants, but to have 27 was simply amazing. And they range from all different phases of the component industry, the processes. Things from, egg buildings. How do you utilize things there? How do you do better deliveries? How do you do, things with wall panels as far as the materials and stuff that go in there? We're talking with each of the different entrants to kind of see how much they want us to promote those to where we can also draw some attention to their ideas at the appropriate time. But Vecta did a great job. Appreciate them entering as well as all the other entrants. I'm having a number of conversations with, the leaders at those organizations to continue on to see, innovation just doesn't stop there. It isn't just like we have a winner and we're done. This is meant to create a culture within SBCA, within the component industry of innovation. And with that, I want to caution component manufacturers. Think about it. What is innovation? It is very much a Pandora's box. To some, it's an incremental, like, oh, wow, if I get my roller press to go just a little bit faster, that would allow me to do so many more things or build more trusses. That's one side of incremental innovation. On the other, be prepared to be, displaced, be disrupted. That's the other potential entrant there. So, make sure that you are aware of everything that's going on. Not that I'm saying that component manufacturers are going to be disrupted, but there is potential for that. So be thinking about those things as we go through this. Be agile in your businesses. And there are going to be a lot of things. And we're going to continue that conversation into next week at our OQM. But overall, just a great number of entrants. I'm looking forward to seeing all of those innovations come to market and how it's going to impact component manufacturing, not only in the near term, but in the long term as well. So that was really cool. Can't be excited enough for BCMC to get here to continue that conversation. Really appreciate everybody that participated in that. And thank you to our judges. Ashley and our staff did a great job of putting everything together. So really appreciate all of that. So let's shift gears, full stop, talk about something different that I've been asked a lot of questions this week about Integra. The news came out on that. Looks like they are, going to be shutting down, doing something a little bit different. And what that means for component manufacturing as a whole, I've had some people kind of infer that it's a reformation on components or offsite construction. I hardly think that's the case. I think it's more about specific instances and what was going on there. LP was a huge investor there, huge, big, large, however you want to phrase it. But I think it might shift their priorities and what they're doing there, as well as I don't know if we've heard the last of Integra, to be honest. There's a lot of different things that could happen there. I don't have any insider information. I don't know what's going on there. But I do know that they're very passionate about what they do. They do a good job. They provide a good product. So there are a lot of different things that could come out of that. I know Jerry has had a very good, lengthy discussion about offsite, what he thinks it is. And honestly, I think his messaging is typically correct. I rarely find it fault with any of that. So he's done a great job of raising awareness and promoting offsite. His delivery method, a little different from mine and what I would like to see, but that's personality and my personal preference. So all in all, I do think that they've done a lot of good things for the industry, a lot of great work in drawing awareness to offsite, the ability for component manufacturers to participate in that. And that's where we get into some of those definitions that are nuanced and people get really, possessive and in their corners and that kind of stuff, where honestly, I think offsite is whatever people want it to be and whatever the solution they are buying and whoever's providing it, ranging from components to modular to everything else in between. So really, I look forward to that conversation continuing. I hope to see those people continue in the industry some way, shape, or form. I do think that they've got a lot of things to be working on, but that is one thing that I just wanted to draw attention to. is really what Integra was doing is they were doing a lot of rework on the design up front. And while I think it was warranted, and I think that they had a great model and everything they were doing, it shines the light on just how much rework is necessary and where we are getting as component manufacturers the plans, what the state is, and then how we're producing components out of that. I think that's something that people should draw as much attention to that as anything. That there are a ton of opportunities for improvement. I think component manufacturers can move up the supply chain to where they are in that discussion at the design stage, to where a lot of that might not have to be reworked. So I do think that that's something that we can talk about as an industry and really point and shine a light on that we could use better plans. And that comes from investment from the developers, the builders, to the people that are drawing them. I think that there are some education opportunities there. A lot of good stuff that we can do. I think we can be proactive about it. I think we can, affect the messaging that where we don't have to point fingers and get upset. I think that those are all opportunities for us to do a lot of good work. I hope SBCA can participate in that. The other thing that I'd caution is just, and this is unrelated completely, but in changing times, we've got markets that are, wishy-washy. I heard lumpy and bumpy as a description of what's going on in the economy here recently, which I thought was good. But be careful about your eggs in your basket, and just how diversified is your customer base. That is something that happened to me as a component manufacturer. I had all of my eggs in a very small basket or a very singular basket, or maybe one or two. And when that sours, that's when things can happen. Not saying that was the case, but you never know. And that's just one of those lessons that I hope people are thinking about looking at as they navigate the headwaters ahead, and seeing what happens going on there. So that's kind of me as, on my stump, on my soapbox, if you will. But, Integra, I don't think we've heard the last of them. They do a lot of good work. They got the right message. They're solving the right problems. And I think that will prevail. I hope that component manufacturers look at them, what they've been doing, and everything that can happen there. So hopefully that helps answer that question in a, fairly public way, to where, we can continue to move on talking about the benefits of components and how builders, framers, everybody should be using wall panels, roof trusses, floor cassettes, and, looking ahead in that design stage to utilize the best offsite solution that we have in the market, in every market across the country. So with that, went very long, but that was one of the questions that hopefully I answered that, to where we don't get so many of those questions next week as we wrap up in Nashville for our OQM. That's me wrapping up talking about Nashville. It sounds like the weather is going to be great. Nashville is always a fun place to be. I hope we get some business done and it's not just all fun, but I'm sure there'll be some fun to be had too. So until next week, looking forward to seeing everybody in Nashville. I think we've got 170 or so registrants. Hope everybody makes it. We should have a really good time. Looking forward to it, and we'll talk to you then. Until then, peaks up, press on, and have a good, safe trip to Nashville if you're going. And if not, we'll wrap up with an update next week. Goodbye.